I know the light is out behind me, just ignore that. I'm really sorry, but this is gonna be a very long video probably. I've tried 2 times to film this video and I literally just could not put it together cohesively or get myself through talking basically about 2 years of my life, if that makes any sense. Yeah, so I've tried 2 times to film this and it did not go well, but I'm gonna try a 3rd time because I really want to share the story. This is probably going to be my least edited video on YouTube because I just want to tell this story just flat out. But there are a couple things I have to say before I actually start talking about the story. I'm not looking for sympathy by telling the story publicly. I'm completely okay. I'm fine. This all ended back in December, so I've had time to process it and get through it and, you know, move on with my life. So I'm okay. But I wanted to tell the story because this is why I left YouTube. If you go back and look when I like stopped kind of like consistently uploading, I mean I never really consistently uploaded, it was my embarrassing stories video. And that was basically the end of YouTube for me. So I'm hoping to get back into it, but I need to tell why I disappeared for so long, and it basically starts when that video was uploaded and it just ended. So I don't know the demographic of who is going to watch this video because I haven't been on YouTube for a while, so I don't really know my demographic anymore. But if you have followed me for a long time or you are friends with me in real life, you probably are going to be able to figure out who this person is, and I ask you to please not engage with this person. Do not harass this person. Do not send this to this person. If he sees it, he sees it. I don't really care, but, you know, do not engage or say mean things to this person. I don't want to provoke him, and I'm not saying this because I want to protect him. I'm saying it because I want to protect myself. And yeah, so if you know who this is, do not reach out to this person, because obviously I'm going to get into why this person is literally psycho, so I don't know why you would want to do that in the first place. And obviously this is going to be a long story. This is 2 years of my life. I've tried to condense it down as much as I can. I may miss important details. I've scripted out basically the entire thing. It's 7 pages. So yeah, I don't want to talk much about the actual relationship with this person because I don't think it is that important to the story, but I do want to talk about it just a little bit because it gives an idea of what this person is like and how they were involved in my life, and it's necessary to make sense of what happened. So I got into this relationship with this person that I'm gonna just call Bob. So I met Bob in December of 2017, and I was a senior in high school. I was in almost my 2nd semester of senior year, and I just finished my sophomore year of college, so that gives you an idea of how long this has lasted. So this was my first relationship ever. I had never had a boyfriend before. I really wanted a boyfriend, so I've definitely put up with stuff that I just shouldn't have, because I was so stubborn and I wanted a boyfriend, and that's just warped to think that I did that, but I did do that, and I want to be honest, and I put up with a lot of stuff that I should not have put up with. So my 2nd semester, my senior year, I was in a very, very bad place in my life. I'm not going to get into it because it's not important, but, you know, I really wanted a boyfriend in high school. It was my 2nd semester senior year. I was in a really bad place, and so it was kind of just a perfect storm for Bob to come in and for me to basically put up with a lot of shit that I normally would have not put up with, but I did because I just was in this awful place. So he slid into my DMs. That's how we met, but we had mutual friends, so it wasn't sketch or anything. Like, we also had mutuals on Instagram, and like I had heard the name before, like it wasn't anything weird. But yeah, so Bob DM'd me and he asked to get coffee, and I don't even drink coffee, so I was a little like, whatever, but he like was pretty persistent, so I was like, okay, fine. So I got coffee, and that was the start to something really, really bad. So everything was fine until we got into an argument like a couple months in, and he was intoxicated and I was not, and so he just started yelling at me for shit that I just, like, it just was idiotic shit that I would never do, and he just was looking to yell at me for anything. And long story short, I found out that he was cheating on me through Tinder and messaging, and I like saw all the messages with all these girls, and like it was really bad, and I was really upset because the messages were very like graphic, and it just, yeah. So it was clear what his intentions were, and I was not happy. And so he freaked out, he apologized, he was like, it'll never happen again, I'm really sorry, like, I didn't really know what I wanted with you, but now I do, so, and now I know that I only want to be with you, so, yeah, like, it'll never happen again. And I believed him. I believed him. And then 3 weeks later, it was my birthday, and I went to school. It was my 18th birthday, and this girl pulled me aside, and she came up to me and she showed me a picture of Bob, and she goes, "Is this your boyfriend?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Well, I need to show you something." So she opened her phone and she opened all the Tinder messages that she had with Bob, and they were awful, and I felt awful because it was my birthday, and this girl didn't know that he was my boyfriend until somebody else told her. So she profusely apologized. I wasn't mad at her. She honestly didn't know. And she did the right thing and told me. So I flipped out, and I told Bob, I don't want to be with you anymore. Like, this literally is 3 weeks later. Like, you promised me you'd never do this again, and you're cheating on me with girls on Tinder. Like, the same thing that you got caught for, like, 3 weeks later, like, fuck you. So, like, I was not happy, and yeah, I left for like 2 days, so I didn't really leave. Yeah, honestly, I became more mad at myself that, like, I let him tell me that he would never do this again, and then he did it like 3 weeks later. But I wish I could say that I left him, and I didn't. And yeah, so and then stuff really went to shit after that. If they weren't even good before, but stuff really got bad after that because he found out that I was going to college like nowhere near Seattle, and he was a year older than me, so he went to college in the city in Seattle, so there was no long distance ever, and I was gonna go to college in Indiana, so yeah, that caused some issues, and stuff really just started going downhill from there. I'm not really going to go into detail about the abuse that occurred during the relationship, but Bob was extremely manipulative and abusive and toxic, and he hurt me in many, many ways. And Bob was realizing that he couldn't manipulate me to stay in Seattle, and I think it made him freak out, and it just made shit really, really bad. Long story short, I was afraid of Bob because of the stuff that he did to me, and I didn't want to leave him because I was afraid for my own safety and what he would do if I did leave him, and I also was afraid for his safety because I didn't know what he would do if I left him because he obviously wasn't sane. And I didn't want to be the reason that something really bad happened. So I thought that, you know, my way out of this was me going to college far away, and stuff would just slowly fade out, and, you know, it would be a little bit easier to end this if I wasn't within a like driving distance of him. So literally everyone hated Bob. My friends, my parents, nobody ever liked him. I can't say that any of my friends were ever like for this dude. Like, they were like, what the fuck are you doing? And also, I had people literally reach out to me that I did not know. I mean, we were mutuals, but did not know, that found out that I was dating Bob, and they warned me, and they told me, you need to get out of this relationship now. And I didn't listen. I didn't listen. You know, people that were actually like, because we went to different schools, people that actually went to school with him and have known him for a while, a lot longer than I have, were reaching out to me and telling me, you need to get away from this person, and I didn't fucking listen. So, you know, a lot of people hated him. I'm gonna be honest, a lot of people that were close to me when this was all going on actually left me. Like, some of the people that were witnessing what was going on, like, directly, they left. Bob turned me into this awful person, and I lost a lot of people because I associated with him, because of his influence on me. Like, it was all bad. Like, everyone around me was like, we're here for you, like, you need to get out of this, and I didn't fucking listen. So, but I also explained why I didn't feel safe to leave. I didn't feel like it was the best idea. I don't know. I had no idea what to do, because I didn't know what he was going to do if I left, but I also was losing people. So I was really stuck in a really bad situation because of fear, and also yeah. You guys get the point. I was scared, and I was losing people, and I just kind of shut down. So I left for college, and we did long distance. I told him, yeah, we'll stay together, blah, 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 hoping that it just wouldn't work out and stuff would just fade away and, like, we'd be fine. So, yeah, that didn't go well. The distance made him 10 times more manipulative than he was at home. Because he could not physically control me, he was trying to control me through my phone. So if I didn't answer my phone immediately, or answer his FaceTime calls, or if I find my friend's location was in a location that, like, he didn't know, and, like, if I went out, like, anything I did, if I didn't communicate to him, like, it caused issues, and he would scream at me. And it got to the point where, like, I was going to a school across the country with nobody from my high school. Like, I needed to go out, and I had to socialize to make friends, so I was okay in college, and, like, he just didn't get that. And, like, he thought me going out was me cheating. And so anytime I went out and I didn't stay in to FaceTime him, to text him every fucking 5 minutes, then he would call me and start screaming at me and break up with me. And then the next day he would apologize and say that we need to stay together. And it just became this cycle. Like, I would go out, he would scream at me, and then he'd apologize the next day. And over and over. And I think after, like, the third time, I was like, literally, no, like, fuck this. Like, this is not working, obviously, because you just can't handle this long distance thing. But again, I didn't want to have Bob do anything stupid, so I told him, we can stay friends. You know, we will just keep at a friendly distance. We are not together, but we can be friends. So I can text you, but I don't have to respond all the time. I don't have to tell you where I am. And that did not work out very well either. This was a little bit before I went home for Christmas break, and I went home and we were trying to do the friendly thing. So I did see him voluntarily a couple times, but my brother really liked hanging out with Bob and I. I mainly was doing it more for my brother because I wanted to make my brother happy. But I made it very clear that after I left, Bob and my little brother were not to hang out anymore. Like, I needed to be there. We were not together, so it would be weird if Bob was to hang out with my little brother. So yeah, I told Bob, like, if I'm not home, don't hang out with my brother. I told my brother, if I'm not home, don't hang out with Bob. Like, I respect what I want because this is my ex and this is my family. So I left, and I found out that Bob had gone and picked up my little brother, and I found out because I saw a Snapchat from my brother and I recognized the inside of the car, and I asked my mom if she knew where my little brother was, and she didn't, so I told her, and it caused this whole issue because my parents blamed me because this was my ex-boyfriend. So And they didn't like Bob, so this was my fault. And yeah, so I just realized then that Bob was causing more issues than good in my life. There's just no point for this person to be in my life anymore. Like, he didn't respect the rule that I didn't want him to see my younger brother. Also, there was a 4-year age gap because Bob was a year older than me and my little brother is 3 years younger than me. So weird. You're in college. My brother is a freshman in high school. Like, leave him alone. Even the friendship thing, he like wasn't taking seriously. He would still kind of treat it like we were boyfriend and girlfriend. And I would tell him, I was like, we are just friends. And he didn't get it. And it just got to a point where I was like, okay, I have given you 900 chances probably to make shit right, and you can't. So I am now going to leave because I cannot do this anymore. So I'm going to block you, and you're just gonna have to deal with it. And like, this is not a thing anymore. So leave me alone. Don't contact me. Don't contact my family. Like, I made it very clear that like, I was done. So that gives you kind of like an idea of what Bob was like. All you need to know is that he is abusive, he was manipulative, he cheated on me, he lied to me constantly. Yeah, he was just really bad, like really bad. So I blocked all of his social media and his phone number, but I don't use Snapchat that frequently, so I forgot to block him on Snapchat, and exactly what I feared to happen happened. He was Snapchatting me videos of him obliterated drunk like all hours of the day, and then he was driving places and Snapchatting me them while drunk. So like, he was Snapchatting me drunk driving and like all this shit, and I was just so scared because I thought I was responsible for how this person was acting, and I didn't tell anyone. I just continued to watch these Snapchats that he would send me, and I was too afraid to block him immediately because if he was sending me Snapchats, I knew he was still alive. And eventually the Snapchats just stopped, and once they stopped, that's when I blocked him. But yeah, and I realized that that was basically just him trying to bait me to come back and guilt me into coming back, and it didn't work. So he was blocking everything. I was good. I was happy. I was living my life, doing my own thing. And then he came back and he found my roommates on, not my roommate, my best friend at the time, who's now my roommate. He found her on Facebook and he messaged her trying to get in contact with her. And then he also added her on Snapchat and called her multiple times asking to talk to me, asking where I was, blah, 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 all this stuff. And she repeatedly told him, like, I don't know you, I don't want to talk to you, and Brooke doesn't want to talk to you anymore. Like, stop contacting me. And she blocked him, so. And yeah, eventually stuff just died down and I was fine. And then I went home for spring break, and that is when stuff got really, really, really bad. I had to go home to go get my wisdom teeth out, so I was in bed like 90% of the time I was home for spring break. Except for the last day I went to a rave, which I don't go to. This is not a common thing I go to, so there's no way he could have known that like this is probably something that I would be at. It was my first one. I went with a couple friends. And it's not close to Seattle. I mean, it is, but it isn't. It's kind of a drive. So yeah, he somehow found out that I was going to this rave the last day of spring break, and went to try to find me. And I know this because the next day I went back to school and I got a direct message on Instagram from like a weird account, and the account told me it was Bob, and he was like, I still love you, I went to this rave to try to find you but I couldn't find you, oh, and then by the way, I'm trying to transfer to the junior college across the street from your university, and I'm coming to visit your birthday weekend. So I freaked out because he was trying to come from Seattle to the middle of nowhere, Indiana, to be by me and go to this rando college that just happened to be like directly next to the university that I go to. And he was coming to tour the college, like, coincidentally on my birthday weekend. So I freaked out. I was like, this is not happening. I got away from this person and he's trying to follow me here. He tried to find me at this event. Like, no, this is bad. I did go to the university to talk about the incident. I filed a whole report. I was like, this just cannot happen. I fear for my safety. My roommates who had witnessed a lot of what happened, when their relationship was kind of blowing up, they were scared because they had heard a lot of the stuff that he said to me. My best friend, the one he would contact all the time, was terrified. I didn't stay in my room my birthday weekend because he knew where I lived, because he did have my mailing address, which is the name of my dorm and the room number, because he sent me mail like the first couple of weeks that I went to school there. So yeah, it just caused this whole big issue. I never heard back from the university about what happened with the situation, but he thankfully did not go to the college. I don't know what happened, but he did not end up going to the college because I got told that he was staying in school in Seattle. So and then I went home for the summer, and I was home for the entire summer and I never heard one thing from him. Like, it was very weird. All this shit would happen while I was gone at school, and the second that I'm like back to being close to him, it just like disappeared. Like, a couple people that went to school with him told me that like he had asked about me and like they knew what was going on, so they didn't say anything, but like nothing super scary. So unfortunately, when I went back to school, this is when stuff got really bad again. The first thing that happened was I got a weird DM from like a weird ass account, and it was a photograph of me that I knew was not public. So I didn't think I sent it to anyone. I knew it was like on my phone, but like I didn't send it to anyone. I thought someone had gotten my iCloud. Like, I thought someone had gotten my iCloud and was like taunting me that they had access to photos that like weren't public, and I was like, fuck. So I kind of freaked out, but the way that this person was messaging me, it sounded a lot like how Bob would text me. And he had a very, very like distinct way of texting, if that makes any sense. He was a weirdo, so like he texted weird. And the way he was talking, this account was talking to me, sounded like Bob. So I was like, okay, well, whatever. Maybe I sent this picture to Bob once. I guess I did, because I made another Instagram account. It was just a blank account, so I could go look at Bob's Instagram to see if he had posted anything about me. And there it was, the photo that he had just DM'd me from this like random account. Super sneaky. So I DM'd back this account and I was like, dude, like, I know this is you, Bob, like, can you just take down this photo? And he like wouldn't. He like literally didn't respond, refused to take down the photo. I was like, dude, like, take it down, and he just wouldn't do it. And I was upset because like he posted this photo that was private without consent, and like it's not bad, but like, yeah, I don't know, like it could be worse, but like also like don't do that, like take it down. And so also I don't smoke cigs. So don't worry, I'm strictly Juul and quitting Juul, but yeah, I don't smoke cigs. So anyway, yeah, he like wouldn't take it down, so I was like, okay, fuck you. And so I continued to monitor his account because I was like, okay, if he's gonna post shit about me and not listen to me, then hopefully he doesn't post anything like really, really bad. And then he made an Instagram live, well, he went on Instagram live, and it was just literally a photo of me, and he was flipping me off. And then I went to his account, and there was a photo of me, the same one that he was flipping off, but this time he had placed X's over my eyes. And this is when I was like, okay, he's publicly showing that he is pissed, he's crazy, he's putting X's, like, I was getting scared. If I wasn't scared before, like, I was scared now, because I knew Bob was nuts, and he was publicly being nuts, and like, I was scared. I was really scared. Like, who the fuck posts a picture of their ex-girlfriend with their eyes X'd out? People that killed their ex-girlfriend. Like, I was scared. So this is when I knew that I needed to go to the police, because I could not stop this. Like, he wouldn't listen to me. I told him repeatedly, don't talk to me, don't contact me. He's trying to still. He's posting stuff publicly about me. I had a couple people that literally asked me if him and I got back together, like concerned that I had gotten back with this person because he was posting pictures public of me. And that's not like, why would you post a picture of your ex-girlfriend if y'all are not together? Whatever. So I was just getting really fucking annoyed with the whole situation. I finally just gathered everything that I had and I went to the police and I wanted to end this, like, for good. And unfortunately I went over Thanksgiving break and I was only home for like 2 days, so I had to wait till I came back for Christmas break because I would be home longer, because the whole process it was gonna take a while because I had to go to court twice. I had to go to court more, I'll explain that later, but like, the whole thing was gonna take a while that I just could not do it over Thanksgiving break, so I had to wait. After talking to the police, I went back to school after Thanksgiving, and I just kept gathering more and more information as he continued to harass me. I knew I had his main blocked, so I was like, what the fuck? So I just had to keep blocking all these accounts. Sometimes he used his real name, sometimes he didn't use his real name. But it was very clear most of the time what accounts were him. One of the scary instances was, it was midterms, and my computer literally blew up. Like, the hard drive fried in the middle of midterms, and I had a bunch of notes on my computer and I was freaking out. So I went to the Apple store and I asked them, I was like, just please, I need a new computer, just transfer the files that like were in my school folders. Like, just trash the rest, I don't really care, but I just need these files, that's it. So that's what they did. I got a new computer and they just transferred the files that were important for school to me, and everything else was not on there. So that included my contacts. My contacts were not on my computer. So I got back to my dorm and I was setting up the laptop, and so I connected my phone to the computer, but the contacts didn't sync, like the number was just connected to it. And one of the problems Apple has with like iMessage and FaceTime on computers is that if you have somebody blocked on your phone and your contacts didn't sync, but even though the phone is connected, the blocked person can get through to the computer if you haven't blocked him on the computer, but it won't go to your phone, you know? Okay, hopefully you know what I'm talking about. So I'm setting up my computer and I get a FaceTime, and it had a 206 area code, which is the area code for Seattle, so I just assumed it was one of my friends trying to FaceTime me because none of my contacts were in the computer. So I answered it, and it happened to be fucking Bob. And I immediately hung up, and I literally turned gray, and I was freaking out. And my roommate was sitting next to me, and she was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And I explained what had just happened, and she was like, what the fuck? Because the coincidence of that happening is so weird. Like, it was, like, how did he know it was, like, gonna go through? I don't think, he obviously didn't know. I think that he was calling me probably every day to hopefully get lucky that one of those days his number was not gonna be blocked and I was gonna answer. He called, and the call fucking went through to my laptop, and I didn't recognize the number, and I answered it, and it was him. So I unblocked him on my phone. I was like, do not ever call me again. Like, I don't know why this went through. I don't, but like, do not call me. And then I blocked his number again, so he just got the message. But that didn't end anything. It didn't end anything. I just continued to keep getting these weird ass Instagram accounts, and they just would be like replies to my stories that I obviously was him, because eventually he would tell me, and then I just kept getting more and more and more random accounts harassing me on Instagram that were all him, and I was just constantly blocking. I was blocking accounts that half the time I was like, you know what, I don't know who this person is. Sorry. So if I blocked you during this time period, I'm really sorry. One of the accounts I remember, the name was Cooper Sabey, which is my dog's name, and then my last name, and then the name on the account was Hail Satan. Like, what the... and yeah, it was him. Who the fuck else? And then he switched the name of the account to some gibberish because it obviously was too obvious. And then he proceeded to call me multiple times on Instagram, and then I blocked the account. Oh yeah, he would contact me almost every day, literally every day, on SoundCloud. And I only use SoundCloud pretty much on my phone, so I didn't really know how to block him. But I just saw like the messages in the corner when I actually got on my computer, and it was just so many, like literally every day. He even made multiple SoundCloud accounts to follow me, and they were obviously him because the only people that he was following were like music artists he liked, him, and me. Like, who the fuck else is that? One day I woke up and I had a direct message from his main account, and I freaked out because I knew there was no reason for me to have his main account unblocked, because I had the second blank account to monitor his Instagram if he posted anything of me. So I don't know how the fuck he got unblocked, but I immediately changed my password, and all he was asking was to get unblocked on Snapchat. I immediately blocked him again. He would message me all the time, random videos on YouTube, random songs, telling me that he loved me, telling me that he missed me. One time and a lot of the YouTube videos were very weird, like very, I wish I could get them so, like, very weird. One time he messaged me, "You're a god," then asked if we could talk, and then told me that he missed me again, and like, it was just, I never responded. He was talking to himself at this point. Why? I don't know. He's nuts. But like, for months. There's so much more that I could talk about that Bob did, but like, that gives you an idea that this person is not thinking straight, and like, this person needs help. This person is psycho. I was scared. I'll just leave it at that. Like, I was really, really scared to be in Seattle and Indiana, because he came to Indiana before. Yeah, like, I literally for the past 2 years of my life was terrified constantly, because this person was obviously trying to find me for months and months and months, and was not letting up. And no matter how many times I told him to leave me alone, and to stop calling me, and to leave me alone, and to leave my friends alone, like, he wouldn't. Like, he literally wouldn't. So in December, I went to court, and I went to go get a restraining order. So basically what you do is you go in, you fill out all these forms, and then you go to court and you tell them why you feel unsafe and why you need the restraining order, which was pretty easy for me because I was scared and I had a lot of evidence. A lot of it was physical evidence, so, and I documented a lot, so, yeah. They granted my restraining order, and so what happens is that they grant it, but then the person who you're trying to get the restraining order against, they have to get it before it, like, goes into effect, because if they don't know that, like, they can't contact you, like, it wouldn't, like, it doesn't make any sense. So I had to wait for him to get his restraining order before, like, it actually, like, went into effect. And unfortunately, the Seattle Police Department is really busy, and so they only give you, like, a couple weeks to have it served to him, and then if it's not, then, you have to, like, restart the whole process again, and then they have to reissue a restraining order, try again. Like, it's just, so it's not fun. It was not fun. I was in court a lot my Christmas break. It didn't get to him the first time, so I had to go back to court. I had to get it reissued, and then they had to send it out again. So during the time period that I was waiting for the second restraining order to be given to him, he continued to harass me. I kept getting weird Instagram DMs. I was, like, so fed up that anyone I got, I was like, dude, I know this is Bob, like, fuck off, like, leave me alone. He was starting to get, like, a little aggressive and was like, no, fuck you, like, this isn't Bob, like, what are you saying? Like, it was so obvious. And then the last straw was when he dragged my little brother into it, and he made another Instagram account to DM my brother and, like, said, like, hey, like, I miss your sister, like, can you let me know where she is or something? And I was like, fuck, no, motherfucker, like, holy shit, like, no. So my brother was freaked out, obviously, and I was so done with this, and so I called back the police and I told him what was going on. I was like, is there anything you can do? Like, I know he hasn't gotten it yet, but, like, it's been issued. Like, can you do anything? And he was like, look, I like can't do anything if he hasn't gotten the restraining order yet, but I can give him a call and basically tell him to fuck off if you want. So I was like, fine, do that. So the police officer calls Bob, and then the police officer called me back to let me know that Bob laughed at the police officer, told him that the whole situation amused him, and that he really doesn't care. So yeah, at that point I was so mad. I was like, okay, there's nothing I can do but like wait for him to get the restraining order. I just have to kind of put up with whatever's gonna happen for the next couple hours. But then my brother called me and he sounded a little freaked out, and he told me that Bob had made another Instagram account to basically just harass and bully my brother and say a bunch of very, very mean things to him. I'll like insert everything. Obviously, I probably am doing that anyway while I edit this, but saying like really awful things, and he made the username the name of his best friend. So like we knew, who else would it be? The name was Bob's best friend, and this account is harassing my brother. Like, I don't know how stupid you think we are, but we know it's you. And yeah, I don't know why he did it. My brother is literally a child and you're an adult, and he has nothing to do with this, like literally nothing to do with the situation. But at this point I was so pissed. I was like, this restraining order needs to be put in place now. So my friends and we drove to the police station that was in his neighborhood, and we were like, you need to serve this right now because I cannot put up with this any longer. And like, just please end this. And so they did it in the morning. And right after he got served it, he called my dad, and he called my dad to ask why I did it, why I got a restraining order, and like that he just like didn't understand, like there was nothing wrong. My dad. Yeah, my dad did not respond. It was a voicemail. He technically didn't violate anything because he didn't call me and he didn't call asking any information about me, and my dad like doesn't fall underneath the restraining order, so we didn't respond. And nothing happened after that. But yeah, I got the restraining order in place for 25 years. And nothing really significant has happened since I got the restraining order. I've had a couple like borderline contacts. He made a Snapchat account under my brother's name, and I asked my brother if he made a new Snapchat, and he said he didn't, and the username of the Snapchat was Bob's name. But he's never like directly contacted me. He's posted photos of me that we took during our relationship, but like nothing, he hasn't contacted me directly. So, but yeah, that is the scary situation that I went through for the past 2 years. Yeah, I wanted to make this video because, one, it's the reason that I left from YouTube, but two, it's because I really want, like, if anyone can learn from the situation and like listen to themselves, just like remind people that it's very important that you listen to people around you, the people that love you, and yourself, your instinct, because it can get you in some really serious trouble and shit. And I genuinely feared for my life for a long period of time, and it was not fun. And I wish I never had to go through it, and I hope nobody else has to go through anything like this. But what happened is what happened. So yeah, I'm a lot happier now, and I'm happy with where I am. But yeah, so I just wanted to tell what happened, but I really wanted to get back into making videos. So yeah, I'm pretty comfortable talking about the situation now, so if there's any questions about it, I have no problem answering them. My camera's gonna die. Okay, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time.